Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. You. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. You. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. New. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. You. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. I hope that everybody is having a great and wonderful day. To my YouTube audience, I want to say thank you, first of all, for allowing me to take a pause in this season, to take a break, and to be a caregiver because I have been doing fine. I've been doing great. But the people in my life have needed my help and my assistance through their health journeys. And so that is what I have been doing. um, Besides trying to get things out in writing to people and to keep people informed on our Facebook platform, I have been taking care of both my elders and my partner in life. Um, so, this second part of the season, because we are a little bit halfway through the season, this is season 17, episode 31. For those of you who are counting, we have 50 episodes per season. We used to do 100, but we are doing 50 aloud in discussion. Um, so, first of all, I want to say thank you to those of you who watch us on a regular basis, who have been faithful with spending time with us really for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Thank you very, very much for that. I don't take your audience and your attention for granted. So I did want to say, first of all. Second of all, because of my professional schedule changing, we are no longer going to be meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this rest of the season. That has been our standard time for, gosh, years now. But because of the change in my schedule, we're going to have to move to 12 o'clock. I'm on late because I just got done with a client. So I also apologize for that. I am usually here on time, but our time is changing to 12 o'clock. Most days we're going to be doing, and good morning, Jaja. I see you all the time on our threads. Thank you for tuning in, listening, sharing, commenting, providing insight. So, again, we're going to be moving to 12 o'clock. Most days, I think 3 days out of the week, we'll be able to do a full hour. Um, so, Monday, Thursday, Friday, we'll probably do a full hour. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I got to cut it a little short because I have clients. All right. So, that being said, now that everybody knows, we'll be back the rest of the week at 12 o'clock, provided the sky doesn't fall in and the world is not nuked. We aim to be back at 12 o'clock. All right. If you're with us for the first time, welcome to Daring Dialogues. My name is Shantae Charles. I do have a resident co host, Pastor Ben, who comes on and shares with us. Pastor Ben, we're going to try to do our talk back today on Facebook. Okay. So I see you on YouTube, but we're going to do the talk back on Facebook today. Now, everybody, take a moment with me and let's breathe. Let's take a moment to breathe. Breathe in and out. Now, this time I want you to breathe in. I want you to think about all the stuff you've been holding. And I want you to release the things that no longer serve you and out. One more time, breathe in and out. This week, I have been having to release the things that no longer serve me, whether it's anger, whether it's bitterness, whether it's um, just frustration, whether it's tiredness, lethargy, all of those things, right? Because if you're a person who does caregiving for other people, you know that you can begin to just take on the heaviness of what everybody else is dealing with. And so I need to make sure that I'm not taking on the heaviness of what everyone else is dealing with, but I am providing care, right? And so, if you're with us for the first time, this is Black Table Talk. This is our day. Well, really, somebody would say, girl, you talk about Black stuff all day, every day, 24/7, 365. That is true. That is true. Okay. I won't deny it. But today is sort of what we call our All Things Black Day. All right? All things Black. Black people, Black issues, Black polity, Black concerns, all of that good stuff. Tuesdays through Friday, we are only on YouTube. So, all of my Facebookers, that's why I put my links in the chat so that you can click on our YouTube channel and subscribe there. If you want to check in with us every day, we're every day, Monday through Friday, on YouTube. Okay. All right. Everybody got that? All right. We're working through announcements right now. All right. If you come on a Tuesday, we're doing inspiration. We're reading something inspiring. You come on a Wednesday, we're talking about relationships and all things relationships. Right now, we're covering boundaries. If you come on Thursday, we're talking theology and philosophy. Right now, we're talking about the spirit of justice reparations. If you come on Friday, we are talking about health and wealth. We're talking about personal finance, okay? And we're talking about nutrition and getting your body together with things that actually make sense. We are reading on all of those days. So if you're a person that's like, hey, I need reading rainbow for adults, I don't have time to get into a whole lot of reading. I want somebody to be able to read to me. I want to listen to this in my drive time. I can go back and replay it, etc. That's what we'll be doing. So we're reading aloud, right? And you can go back and hit the replay and catch up on the reading, and then we discuss. So reading, and then discussion. Today, however, because the United States of America is tearing up the country, we're probably not going to do any reading today. All right. I want to hear from you all. You can put how you're feeling. How are you feeling right now with the temperature in this country? You can tell me in the comments. You can type in the comments, hey, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm holding on. I'm hanging in there. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. um, how you are feeling. I think that's important. All right. So tell me how you're feeling about our current climate in the country right now. All right. And again, normally I would be reading, we'd be reading some Black history persons. That's going to increase as we go into February because February is Black History Month here in the United States. Believe it or not, some other countries have their Black History Month after ours, which is really interesting. But ours is February, so we will be focusing in on Black achievement, Black history, Black accomplishments, people that you might not know. You might learn about somebody that you don't know. All right, so I just want to get a temperature check. How is everybody doing? Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you have everything you need right now? Let me hear from you in the comments. All right. We just came out of, and I think most of it is starting to taper off, this winter storm that came through. It came through my area. We got about 2 feet of snow. Thankfully, we have great neighbors. Great neighbors are important. They are something that money cannot buy. Great neighbors came out 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, we're hiring some more people to come finish up shoveling out the snow, but we had neighbors that were willing to come and do it because, again, my husband is in recovery, so he cannot physically do it like he normally does. But we have good neighbors that said, hey, we will step in and help out. Speaking of neighbors, I think looking at what has happened in the last 72 hours, that word neighbor is something that has been sort of churning and staying with me. What does it mean to be a good neighbor? What does it mean to be a good neighbor to humanity? What does it mean to be a good neighbor locally? What does it mean to be a good neighbor in the world? Right now, our country is being challenged because our place in the world is showing everyone else that we are not good neighbors. We haven't been good neighbors in the Western Hemisphere, and we are not good neighbors when it comes to the world. And when I say we, that includes us all, because what the felon in chief does affects us all. Unless these countries are like, oh, we're not going to touch black people, because we see who the villain is, we see who the culprit is. We're hands off of black people. Um, unless the countries make that decision, we are all in trouble. You remember, most of us remember when we were younger, right? And we got dressed up and we were going to an event and our parents were not going with us. Most of us went to at least one event where our parents were not with us and they sent us out of the house, but usually your parent would stop you at the door. What are some of the things that your parent might say as they stop you before you head out the door to the event? Some of the things that our parents have said to us is remember who you are, remember whose name you carry, right? Remember that you represent this house, remember that you represent us, remember that you represent me as your parent or your grandparent, whoever your guardian was, right? Well, that's what happens when our leader goes out to an event like a World Economic Forum, for example, or a World Committee meeting, for example. That's what happens when our leader goes to these events in our name on a global stage and represents us. I know he thinks that he's just representing himself and his four and no more, but he's really representing all of us. So that's what I mean when I say we are in trouble. Because Lord, the representative that's going around speaking on our behalf when he does get words out, when he's not napping, okay? Yeah. He's speaking on behalf of the nation, okay? Exactly. Hello, my brother, Gabe. Exactly. Remember, there will be consequences. Should you act out of character to the name of the family, there will be consequences. Well, this person, he hasn't had a consequence. He hasn't had a consequence since January 20th. No, no, let's back up. He hasn't had a consequence this entire time. The consequences that he has had have been erased, have been reneged on, have been wiped off the table. So you're looking at somebody who continues a reign of terror in the nation, who hasn't had consequences, who has taken that as a cue to go do more reign of terror to other nations. But other nations are not bound by what our nation is doing with him. I'm going to say that again. Other nations are not bound by what our nation is doing, or rather, not doing. They're not bound to the look the other way code of conduct that America has going right now with our leader of the not so free world. Because I think a lot of people realize that as well. We can't keep saying leader of the free world when U.S. citizens are being assassinated in broad daylight. That ain't a free world. That's not a free world. So, leader of the not so free world, that's what we're going to say. All of that reflects on us. All of it reflects on us. And so, the question that I've been asking myself, okay, this weekend is what kind of neighbor do I want to be? Outside of my family, outside of the comfort of my home, what kind of neighbor do I want to be? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? I want to read something to you, and let me see if I can find it here quickly. That Dr. Stacey Patton wrote. Most people know Dr. Stacey Patton. I've had the pleasure of meeting her late last year, finally. I have long admired her writing and her child advocacy work, but I got a chance to meet her on last year. I want to read you something that she wrote that I thought was very, very powerful. She always writes powerful things, but concerning the unaliving of the gentleman that happened over this weekend, Pretti, Alex Pretti. We know about Renee Good. We know about Keith Porter, and there are a list of names of people who have been unalived by ICE or unalived in their custody. All right. Gabe says he didn't have consequences since he was illegally elected and allowed to lead an insurrection. And when there was going to be consequence, he had church folks from Rhema to Bethel and more to gaslight Christians. Those other nations are joining together and banding together, and we better wake up. Once they trade only with each other, we are toast. Exactly. And that is one of the things that he is trying to prevent. They are trying to prevent losing control of the petrodollar, and losing control of the dollar being what people trade in. So we've done some posts about that. If you're interested in that, you can always look on our Facebook page, Black Table Talk. But yeah, they're trying to maintain control of the dollar being the dominant currency that most nations use and trade in. That is what this is about, a lot of it. She writes this: what makes that video so unbearable to watch isn't only that an agent unalived Alex Pretti, it's that in the middle of being shoved, struck, repeatedly blasted in the face with chemical spray, his body kept doing one thing: reaching. Reaching for a woman who had just been knocked down, reaching for clarity through the burning of his eyes, reaching to put himself between her and whatever was coming next. You can see that he is disoriented, he is choking, he is staggering, but his instinct is still protection. He isn't posturing or trying to be a hero for a camera. He's trying to focus so he can shield somebody else. His nervous system is under assault. His vision is blurred. His lungs are on fire. And his moral center does not collapse inward. It expands outward and toward another human being in danger. Maybe he knew her, maybe he did not. I don't know, but that's almost besides the point. What the footage shows is a man whose first reflex under state violence was not self preservation at all costs, but solidarity, care. The ancient, almost forgotten impulse to say, you are not going to face this alone. That is what makes this unaliving devastating. The state didn't just shoot a protester, It shot someone in the act of trying to protect a woman. It shot a man whose last visible choice was compassion, whose final posture was not aggression but guardianship. And that is the deepest obscenity of the footage. It's watching a system built on force extinguish a body that was, even in terror, still reaching for love. What are we reaching for today? It's a good question. What are we reaching for today? Are we reaching for compassion? Are we reaching for humanity? Are we reaching for justice? Are we reaching for love? Are we reaching for goodness? Are we reaching for seeing somebody else as if they were ourselves? I've had a lot of people say, hey, this is white folks' time to wake up. I'm going to also say this, and I know somebody's going to be ticked off. This may be the time for white people to wake up, but it's also the time for black people to maintain their humanity. Because some of y'all have been way out of pocket, way out of pocket. You saying that you don't care that a person has been executed in broad daylight is not a flex. And please stay off of my page if that's how you feel. Because this is not, oh, if they're, oh, I only care if they're black. This is not that page. You should care because if they come for him in broad daylight, they will come for you at night. You should care too. You should care regardless of who it is because it's wrong. And if you don't understand that, if you can't comprehend that, baby, as my elders would say, baby, scroll on, move along. Okay. So we don't, over here in this page, in this space, we don't rejoice in the execution of innocent people, whether they look like us or not. I just want to be clear about that. We don't rejoice in the execution of innocent people, whether they look like us or not, whether they have share our same ethnicity or not. I think that's disgusting. And please stay out of my space. Don't do that. Okay. I don't want to see it. If I see it again, well, really, I've been blocking people since Friday. Because if I see that, that tells me you have now moved away from your own humanity and you are going to become the thing that you say you hate. I ain't doing that. What we not doing is that. Gabriel says, a system built on force. He reminds me so much of Reverend James Reed, who was unalived by white folks, a mob against changing Jim Crow. Dr. King said his death was crucial because it showed anyone was available for attack. And that's what the regime, because I can't really call it administration at this point, that is what the regime is showing. They're showing you anybody can get it. They're showing you they don't care about the rule of law. And this is good morning and good afternoon. And this is where I have told people, because some people have come on my page to say, well, why are you centering white people right now? I'm centering them because the ones that we connect with are on some John Brown energy. They on John Brown time. And I want the people who are running to black spaces to understand that this is not the time to cosplay alliance. One more time. This is not the time to cosplay alliance with black people. Now, I see some white people, they're connecting, they're starting to organize, they're getting themselves together. That's great. You don't have to co opt a black organization in order to organize for yourself. Great. I also want people to understand that if you say you are down for the cause, understand that the stakes are execution right now. Wherever you say you're trying to help out, Whatever you claim that you're doing, just understand the stakes for helping black and brown people right now. The government has shown you the stakes for helping us is execution. That's what the stakes are. So the people going in Target, they just did a Target salt protest or whatever, where they're going in and buying salt and then returning it and standing in line. Just understand right now, the stakes are execution for no reason. That man was not doing anything. He was not charging at the agents, none of that. And they executed him for no reason. The people who are getting in their cars and who are doing the grocery and the food deliveries for people who are afraid to come out of their house, if they get stopped by ICE, the stakes are execution. The stakes are no longer, what are you doing in this area? Turn your car around and go home. The stakes are, if I get involved, I could be executed by my government and not have any recourse because my government is giving agents immunity to do whatever the heck they want to do to citizens. That's where we are. So that needs to be understood. Gabriel says some black folks rejoicing executions of innocent folks do make me think, are you a plant? Because you aren't really for our own folks with dehumanization. Exactly. How is it that your generations and your ancestors have been dehumanized for hundreds of years, and then you want to rejoice when somebody else is dehumanized? Stay off my page. Goodbye. Because that is not a part of black liberation. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a bot. I don't know if it's a troll, but that is not a part of black liberation. All right. I'm gonna stop talking because if I keep talking, I'm gonna just start thinking about what happened, and then I'm gonna get angry, and then this is gonna go a different way. So that being said, let me bring on, and I'm gonna keep my YouTube on so you all can hear his voice. Let me bring on Pastor Ben. Pastor Ben, have you made it to the Facebook yet? I don't think I see you. I don't think I see you yet. All right, and while we're waiting, folks need to know this isn't new. Right when there was change for black folks, they came for the white comrades. Exactly. In Reconstruction, the first notable white person unalived by the Klan was George W. Ashburn, a Union Army colonel and judge who was assassinated in Columbus, Georgia on March 31st, and it cut off the date. But the name is, give you the name again, George W. Ashburn. All right, I'm going to try to bring you on. All right, and we've got about 20 minutes here to chop it up. And good morning to those of you who are coming in. Good afternoon. Wherever you are around the world, thank you for tuning in. Can you see and hear me?
I see and hear you.
All right, I'm going to back my camera up because I don't know what kind of fandanglement Facebook does once the video goes off. My whole just part of my face is showing and they're not showing my whole face. So let me try to back it up some and see if that helps. All right, go ahead.
Ooh, I'm gonna start with this. I had to phone to a friend to basically calm my nerves because of what happened Sunday. Because every time I saw a video,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I started getting angrier and angrier,
Mm-hmm.
especially after hearing the
Mm-hmm.
blatant lies
Mm-hmm.
that are coming out.
Yes.
No time did that video show his hand on his weapon.
Nope.
He had his cell phone, but he walked up to law enforcement with the 9mm. He approached them when video clearly shows them approaching him
Right.
and him clearly holding a cell phone.
Right.
that's enough to blow the whole thing away right there. Just I don't even want to see or hear anymore because y'all lied on this. But yet you still here. Well, when you walk up to a federal agent with a 9mm, okay, show it to me. Show me in the video.
And there has
Are you
been
not?
there's been several angles. So I typically do not watch snuff videos at all, but because it right, I was like the person who was reporting on it on the ground in Minnesota. I happen to know her and follow her closely. So right when it happened, she already had like live stream and everything going before there were news reports coming out on it. So it was kind of like several minutes after it happened, boom, she went live and started talking about it. Um, and then people started uploading very quickly the videos of what happened because people are like, we got to get this uploaded before the story turns into something else. Because we all know what happens, especially when it's black bodies, the story quickly shifts to demonizing the victim and to criminalize the victim so that people will just kind of brush it off as if, oh, this person deserved to die. When the reality is, even if a person has committed a crime, they are still owed due process. People and these people who are not law enforcement, they are not law enforcement, they're federal agents, okay? They don't get to play judge, jury, and executioner like they are continuing to do. Everything they're doing right now is a violation of human rights, is a violation of civil rights, is a violation of the constitutional rights, especially because they're not even supposed to be accosting US citizens.
Nope.
That's first of all. They have no
Nope.
jurisdiction over US citizens, much less the power and authority to execute them in broad daylight.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're not even supposed to be stopping anybody asking for papers. They're only supposed to act on a warrant signed for a specific person by a judge.
Right.
And they go after that specific person.
Yep.
What they're using, and there's somebody that spoke on this that was actually border patrol. What they're using is border patrol tactics.
Right.
And he said they will not work here. You're gonna have chaos. Border patrol people are coming across the border. You stop them. You ask them for their papers.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal. That's what they do there. But inside here, you have to have a warrant from a judge, not a blanket thing from the president. That don't work.
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal. He does not have that power. So I'm gonna say this, and I probably shouldn't say this on your program, but I said it on my Facebook page because I know the law. When it comes to somebody entering your home, it doesn't matter whether they have a badge or not. When they enter your home without a warrant and they enter forcefully, they are a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You treat them just like they're any other criminal, but have a video. Make sure you got that thing on video.
Mm-hmm.
They'll still try to spin it and twist it.
Yep.
But you got it on video. That is the law. They don't many people won't, but that is the law. And that's backed up. They become when they break the law entering your home, they become a criminal. Think about it. They're what? Law enforcement? Which means they're supposed to enforce the law, not break it. Once they cross that line of breaking the law, they become a criminal, knowingly becoming a criminal.
I want to read
Okay,
some. I want to read some of these comments here. Gabriel says, having done work as a legal observer, before you are required to document for the sake of the protesters so they're safe and can be protected legally. They ignored how he protected that woman, and he was trying to prevent a traffic jam in the street so they wouldn't have the same situation as Renee Good. When you remove someone's gun, which was not even used, that's illegal. They claimed they are threatened now by cell phones, especially as someone actually clapped when he was shot. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. I saw multiple videos from different angles. Some were close up, some were a little farther out from other people who were filming. Some were across the street. Some were from the lady who had the pink, who was being held temporarily at the Whipple Federal Building. But you can see in one of the videos that the agent actually claps.
Mhm.
He's clapping as this man
Mhm.
is being shot while he's already down. He's already probably unalive at that point, and they're still firing rounds into his body, and they're clapping.
And it was close range because one of the agents had already taken his gun out and was actually striking him with it. I
Yeah,
saw that in one of the videos. I
yeah,
saw different angles, and all the angles, their narrative is a complete lie. Number one, again, he never approached the agent. He never approached him. He never did. No matter which video you look at, he didn't approach him. No matter which video you look at, he did not have a weapon in his hand.
yes. And I did see today that they have released the name of one of the people who was involved in unaliving one of the people, one of the agents. Name is Evan Kilgore, Kilgore, and he has been proven to be a far right neo Yahtzee. He also has a connection to Rittenhouse. They were cheesed up at a far right event. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these people are out here using this as an opportunity to unalive people. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. And we, most of us already know that. And this is why I said that if you are planning to get involved, you're planning to be a legal observer, you're planning to be a person who delivers food or whatever it is, you just need to go with the mindset that you could possibly encounter one of these people whose intent is to break the law and make sure you don't come home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the stakes are. That is what the stakes are.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
final final observations.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go right into something else and end it. They want to stress that he had a gun that was fully loaded and two
Mm-hmm.
extra magazines that were fully loaded.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal.
Right.
That's normal. I do that. I don't have no intent on hurting anybody. I came through two incidents where I could have legally used my firearm, but I didn't. I
Mm-hmm.
de-escalated. But I carry two extra fully loaded magazines.
Yeah.
Why? Just in case I need them. People are walking into any stores now, far right, white nationalists are walking into any store now with an AR-15 and just blowing people away. Yes, I'm going to carry two extra magazines. I'm going to. You don't like it? Talk. Do something about these people walking into these stores with AR-15s and blowing people away.
But
You
here
won't.
but here's the thing. Even if he had them on here, it's not illegal to do that.
It's not. It's not. Unless it was illegal in that state, which it was not. He was perfectly in his right. And the police chief there said so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So conversation over. Conversation over. That's no longer an issue.
Yeah.
So, you know, but we we listen. I wanna allude to something you said because this is a people. This is a human situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I've been talking about this for decades, for almost a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
They do us first
Yep.
to desensitize people. They work their way up to the white folk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're witnessing now.
Yep.
That's what now people are so even you got white people now that are so desensitized. Well, they shouldn't have been there or they shouldn't have done that.
Right.
When it comes knocking on your door, keep that same energy.
I've
You
had
shouldn't have been there.
I've had two people that I had to that came into my space over the weekend that I had to ban because they're making these little jokey parodies about pretty and good, talking about it was a pretty good weekend. I said, "Oh, okay, okay." So when
Mhm.
it's your child or your mother or your
Mhm.
uncle or your father
Mhm.
that's executed in broad daylight for whatever reason they drum up, I hope you remember this moment where you decided to mock the death of people who had done nothing wrong.
Exactly.
I hope you remember that. And somebody said it would be ironic if the people doing the mocking are next.
Mhm.
Because for some reason they don't, and again we discussed this three literally I think 3 days before it happened. We talked about the fact that for some of these people that are hiding behind badges, you are not white enough.
Mhm.
You aren't white enough. A neo Yahtzee would say that Alex Pretti, likely Italian, is not white enough.
Mhm.
You got an Irish sounding last name. These neo Yahtzees is probably going to say you're not white enough.
Mhm.
Okay, because the conditions for whiteness are narrowing in real time.
Mhm.
And then somebody else said they didn't understand why they would do this to him. I said they've always been doing this to people who side with the oppressed. They've always
Mhm.
been doing that. Some of them they called
Yep.
race traitors. Some of them they called the
Mhm.
N-word lovers, right?
Mhm.
And I said the moment that you choose to side with what is right, the moment you choose to side with humanity and not the extinction or the exclusion of humanity, you are now coded as black.
Mhm.
You are now coded as black. And in their minds, black people don't have rights. Black people are not human to them. So that means you get the same treatment that they would give a black person, which is again why I said now is not the time to cosplay alliance.
Nope. I'm not playing with it.
You got to be in it and you got to understand what the stakes are.
Mhm.
That's all I have for today. Um, final words, Pastor Ben, as we wrap it up today.
I'm gonna say this: be humane.
Hmm.
Bottom line, be humane. Understand if they're doing this to somebody else, you're not exempted from it. You're not exempt. Be human. Understand that these are human lives that are being affected. Whether you agree with there's a or there's an undocumented person here or not, they're still human. And Jesus himself told us to treat them as though they're one of us. So don't call yourself Christian if you're against that,
Hmm.
because he taught that, and he himself was an immigrant.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend. Stop the pretend. Listen, I'm going after fake Christians. I'm calling them out. I'm not playing with it anymore. I'm calling them out straight up. So I, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to use the word. I'm going to use what Christ taught to show you that you're not matching that, and to show everybody else that you're not matching that. So if you ain't doing it, don't claim to be. You're
Hmm.
religious.
Hmm.
You're religious. That's what you are. Religious and relationship are two completely different things. Christ did not come to establish a new religion. He came to reestablish a right relationship. There's a difference. God bless you.
All right, Pastor Ben, thank you for your sharing today. Thank you for your insights. I want to read this last comment here by Gabriel. It says, being coded as black, CODED, coded. Being coded as black is the major history they don't want children to learn in schools or adults because that was what they got threatened by. Yes. And so, white folks, are you ready to be coded as black? Because that's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Jane Elliott, in her research, when she was in a gathering of people, she looked out and she said, if there's nothing wrong with how black people are treated, Raise your hand if you want to be black. Raise your hand if you want to go out into society being treated the way black people are.
Nobody
Not
raised
one
their hand.
person raised their hand because they understood it was a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It was a difference, and it is a difference. And so, as we wrap up today, I want to encourage people to keep their humanity. I want to encourage people to stay awake, stay alert, stay aware, look out for your neighbor, do what you can to live peaceably with all people, continue to organize offline, locally, check into established organizations who have a track record, keyword track record, of doing the work. Okay? Thank you all for your time and attention. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to evil. Alex Pretti, Renee Good, they were lights in the world. Their light has gone out, but they will not be forgotten. So let's keep
Mm-hmm.
our lights on, everybody. Take care, be well, and most importantly, be what?
Light.
Light. Blessings, and may you have a great and wonderful rest of the day. Take care.